Alright everyone, we are here with War 8 against GT40. This is our second time this season facing them, unfortunately. Today we'll be taking in Shang-Chi, Mr. Negative, and technically Human Torch, but as you saw by the thumbnail, I didn't include him. It's because he didn't end up having any fights. So I'll explain why later. But I have Path 4 in Section 1 and Path 1 in Section 2, and I'm on boss duty. So Path 4 in Section 1, we're going to be taking with Shang-Chi. I did do a few practice fights against my Clairvoyant to see if Mystic Dispersion would be an issue with his precision charges after doing a heavy. And it's a pretty controlled combat or game plan. So it's very easy to avoid giving her too much power from that. So I decided to still go at Shang-Chi. Game plan here is to build up some Furies from the Cleanse Wushu, throw on the Stun Wushu, and take the easy reset with the heavy, and then rinse and repeat until we get to SP2, and then make sure that we drop the Cleanse Wushu right before throwing SP2, so that we can get whatever Furies we get for a big SP2. I did decide that I was not going to retaliate her SP1 because sometimes it comes out really quick. And if you don't realize it's coming immediately and you dash out a little too late, then you're going to end up eating a parry on your way back in. But here, it was just such a smooth fight. It was over in 33 seconds, so wasn't a difficult fight at all. Next is this Terrax on insult to injury. Now, he's unduped, so the start of this fight is a little less of a concern than when he is duped, just because there aren't going to be any quick armor breaks that get on you that'll reduce your ability accuracy. You still have that heal block debuff, but that's only 15%, so just pay attention before you decide to start throwing attacks as to whether your parry landed or not, parry stun landed or not. So again here, doing the same routine of using the Cleanse Wushu, throwing out the stun, and taking the easy reset. And then just making sure that we pick up some Furies when we decide to throw this SP2, and down he goes. Another 35-second fight. So not a bad start to the war. Moving on to our Section 2 fights on Path 1. I'm going to take both of these with Mr. Negative. Game plan here is just build light and dark energy to over 10 before dropping a big SP2. And I decide to go with an invulnerability boost here, not for Longshot. To be honest, the hit from Longshot that I would take is probably the SP1. And even with an invulnerability boost, if he's pure of heart or gets what's required to do the death bleed to you, the invulnerability is not going to save me. So it's really for Doom after this fight, just because Doom can sometimes be crazy AI. So just got to pay attention here, make sure we don't get hit with SP1 or even SP2, but SP2 we shouldn't really be pushing him to SP2 since we can control Mystic Dispersion. So we saw that SP1 coming by deciding to block after a combo and dash after seeing the SP1 instead of immediately dashing out of a combo. So same thing there with that one. That would have been a deadly SP1, but we got it. We got our evade counter. We were at the plus 10 dark energy and we dropped it, and boom, down he goes. So 45-second fight. So far my fights have not been long at all. I have some pretty hard counters for them. Buffet. Mr. Negative is made for this. Anytime that buff is going to try and get eaten by the node, it's just going to cause damage. So this is going to be like every other Doom or Mr. Negative versus Doom fight. I'm just going to build dark energy. It's going to be the same fight as Longshot. I just have to look out for the aura once he throws this SP1. And I have to prepare myself a window where the aura is down and I'm ready to throw SP2. So stop shy of his SP1, so don't put an aura back up. We're at 13 dark energy. We're going to drop this SP2. And we're just going to let it tick, 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 tick. He doesn't want to throw this SP1, so I'm just going to push the dot damage along, and down he goes. So, path fights, super smooth. All right, and moving on to my only mini-boss fight, Mr. Negative on Hurt Locker. I'm going to use Shang-Chi here. I'm going to use the same strategy that I did for Path 4 in Section 1, and that's using the Cleanse Wushu, throwing in the Stun Wushu, and taking the easy reset. Rinse and repeat that. I did decide to throw on skill boosts here. I was kind of fighting. I had an internal battle with whether I should build to SB3, then rotate into SB2 to finish it. But I thought it might be overkill as far as building chi charges go. So I decided to just go with an SB2. And you're going to see from this first SB2 that it's just going to push me to SB3, or push me right back to SB2 without any chi charges. So it's Hurt Locker means I can't throw the second SB2. Not that it would do much damage anyways. But you're just going to see him pretty much be near dead after this SB3. The Shrug debuff I should mention the Cleanse Wushu, I should mention that I want to have those cleanse charges up when I decide to heavy reset so that the Delirious debuff gets eaten. And I did that in the off season, so it works really well so that I don't have to deal with inverse controls or inverted controls. And then while he's without light energy, I'm going to bait out SB1 so that I don't get a Delirious charge and then have to deal with dodging it with inverted controls. So you'll see this rotation does a pretty good job of keeping the life energy or light energy off of him in the most dangerous situations. All right, so all those path fights barely lasted any time at all. They were quick, they were short, they were sweet. They were just overpowering the matchup. We had a Manthing boss, and Mr. Negative actually works really well for a Manthing because in a way he's poison immune due to the Nullify immune. So I'm never going to get a poison debuff, but I'm also never going to get an armor break debuff. The only downside to Manthing being on the boss node is that I can't evade counter to build the most amount of dark energy before dropping an SB2. Now I could use the trick I've been doing against Mojo, and I was kind of thinking, we had a comfortable lead, so this probably would have been the best option, or probably would have been the best idea, but I wasn't focused at all. I figured this would be a long fight, but a pretty easy fight. And you'll see there, kind of retaliated after he did a full combo into my block, and I kept my block thumb down, and I thought I was going to go back into block, and I didn't. So those invulnerability charges went bye-bye, so there goes that game plan of getting knocked down. So now we have to go through the SB1 to SB2, rinse and repeat to take him down. Luckily, we're at 9 dark energy. Technically, we could take a knockdown hit. I think the battle I was having internally during this fight was that I can't retaliate his heavy quickly because of the unstoppable charge. So I had to delay a little bit before going back in. But if he decided to finish a combo into my block, the reflex timing of going, oh shoot, that was the end of a combo, would be too quick than if, oh, it was actually a heavy, I went too fast, and then I ate the unstoppable, and then I got hit. So I was having that internal battle, and then the other internal battle was that it just takes a lot to kill Manthing, because you can't really crit that much. Not saying Mr. Negative has a lot of crit or does a lot of damage to his basics, but this is definitely a slower fight than most Mystics that would be on this node, and he's got a large health pool. So you can see here he's only at 50% after one SB2. And I think this second SP2 is only going to put him maybe. He's being stubborn here too. He won't throw this SP2. I was trying to get the SP1 out and he wouldn't throw it. Now he won't throw SP2. But I figured this fight might take 3 SP2s to take him out. So here we are building to our second one. Block damage is kind of building up, but it's not too much of an issue as long as we can get this SP2 in. Here it goes. So I believe this is going to drop him just outside of assassin range, but luckily he's got the regen buff now that we're at the bottom of the 50%. Now that we're lower than 50% when you throw a special text, you'll see there I got frustrated because I had to throw an SP1 with more than, or with 10 light energy, which means that dark energy is going to expire. And then there I didn't, like I said, made things tight because I retaliated too slow after a finished combo into my block. So now I'm frustrated. And when I get frustrated, I start intercepting a lot. I basically bully the AI. So now you're going to see an aggressively clean fight, which is what I should have been doing at the start. And here, I'm not even going to worry about throwing another SB1. I'm going to drop, there's the intercept, I'm going to drop this SB2 because we're in range to just finish him. So, making it a lot closer than I wanted it to. He's still a pretty good counter, but I knew it was going to be a long fight, and it actually ended up being a long fight. Luckily, our BG actually ended up beating their BG by not dying at all, so we got our second donut of the season. It's unusually low for us, but however, the entire alliance avoided death. So we actually had a perfect war against an alliance that beat us the first war of the season. So it was a good redemption match. This knocked us back into the top 10 for Masters. So it's a really, really good victory. I was really happy with it, especially since I came out of that boss fight after making it close without dying. So thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed it.